coming to you live from Georgetown, Kentucky, home of the George Foreman Grill. I am your host, Yakuzaku, and with me today, I have La Parrilla de Boxeo himself, Light VIP. How we doing, Light?
What's up, Yaku? I was just quickly tweeting and stuff, and now we are in game. Hey, why don't you just take it away?
Mate. Alright, and wait, I forgot I was observing. In the bottom right corner, let me just disable. Left hand corner of the map, starting in the bottom left hand corner of the map, we have the Blues. All the way coming in from Sweden, however, currently residing in Korea. It is the Blues. Wikipedia load. Currently teamless, representing the Unity House. We have SortOf.
And in the top right-hand corner of Eternal Empire LE, we have, representing not just Malaysia, but also all of C, we have the Protoss player, Ranger.
Otherwise known as Claire's number one.
He's the number one to Claire number two. Rip.
Big rip.
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised looking at the signups today that typically me and Micah and Justice Simon also play in this, but no sign of them. We have Ranger and Quantel, and that's it when it comes to C, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're still reeling over the national whatchamacallit from yesterday's GPO and semis.
Yeah. That was a rough hit, but I think it's actually because they're playing in Australia Open right now, and I think the tournament is still going on.
Sense.
Yeah. Typically, normally the tournament is over by now, but I guess they're just having really long series, so yeah, they're just kind of going over. But we have our own series here on our hands.
That we do.
Yeah.
That we do.
And I wonder how close these two players are, because Ranger, he was in the Team Unity house, a couple of months ago, right?
Oh yeah, he was briefly.
Yeah.
Training for the SEA Games, where he was the representative of Malaysia.
That he was.
So they probably traded a couple of builds. I feel like SortOf is definitely one of the players who, when you think of the Unity House, he is, I wouldn't exactly call him the face of it, but he's one of those core members, shall we say?
Yeah. I think he's kind of established himself there. And we do have SortOf coming in and scouting the Stargate with this fast Overlord. So nicely done. Yeah, interesting, because typically you have a Protoss player try and deny that with a Stalker or something in the main, but Ranger, he's nah. You can see it if you want.
I know that you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna deal damage regardless. Yeah. You see the you see the Stargate. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you know what I'm building out of Stargate. What?
Exactly. We do have that Adept shading into the main, getting a little bit of a scout off. Yeah. Not quite killing any workers.
Lose a couple of workers, but not really killing any.
Yeah.
Phoenix is now out for Ranger, as we'll patrol around to try to get a couple of stray Overlords. Not Ranger, sorry, SortOf. Definitely is patrolling his Overlords pretty well, or at least he was until he realized he was up against Stargate.
He was until he wasn't.
And he decided to recall them to his side of the map.
Yeah, which is nice because he did get Overlord speed, right, so he can quickly get them back home, so the Phoenix doesn't get too many Overlord kills and cause a massive supply block. But yeah, something interesting to note about
snowball.
Yeah.
In ZVP.
And do you remember who Ranger went down to yesterday in GPO?
Yesterday in GPO, did he play?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he go down to Justice Simon? I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? Let's say yeah. He went down to Justice Simon. Yeah, 2-1, I believe. Actually, it was a pretty close series. We didn't cast it.
I'll take your word for it. Ranger is just piling on the anti-light units composition that is going to be glaive adepts coming out from him in conjunction with these oracles. So not quite Phoenix Adept. That being said, though, SortOf is going to reciprocate that with a couple of roaches of his own. Not going to be too vulnerable to this unit composition that Ranger is trying to get.
Yeah, I really like this from SortOf, going for these roaches. You know, some players, they like to go Ling Bane Hydra or Ling Hydra, but yeah.
Ranger, you gotta kill the Lynx! And the Lynx are starting to get attacked. SortOf does confirm that a third base is going to be going down, as well as the double oracles of SortOf. Does not quite see the Adept move out, though.
Ooh, that he doesn't, because he had to pull the Overlords back home, right? Because of the Phoenixes. So these Adepts are going to shade in. But there are so many Queens here.
Top of Queens.
Yeah.
They're going to try to shade around, but SortOf, he's repositioning. He has his creep set up so he can have that mobile defense with his Queens up. Ranger is just not going to be able to take that risk, but he is going to be able to try to go for multi-prong. He knows where the Queens are. He wants to keep the Queens over at the third base.
Ooh.
And just continue to threaten.
Yeah, some of the Adepts did shade into the third to deal some damage, but they haven't quite managed to get any drones yet. Here we have the Oracles coming in and the shade going into the main.
Pulsar beam.
Yeah, it's hard though, right?
Just...
Because the Oracles, they're like, you know, they aren't trading well against Roaches or Queens. Because, you know, they only do bonus to light, right?
Well, when the Roaches are in low numbers, you can have the Oracles as a sort of supplementary unit to soften them up. But that being said, it looks like Ranger is not going to be looking to take any fights that he cannot dominate and win. Just going to try to distract the units, and he was able to get 6 drone kills with his Adepts whilst the main army was distracted. So it's not like he didn't get any value, or it's not like he didn't get any value out of that.
Yeah, those 6 worker kills were really nice that he managed to get towards the end. Like, if that hadn't happened, then I would say he'd probably be really far behind.
The show batteries are in place.
Oh, they do.
There's place for a couple of them, but not for all of them.
Oh my god, this is this is a lot of damage. 11, 12.
That's a lot of damage, if I do say so myself, and not even having quite enough chrono boost to, you know, boost all 3 nexuses.
Yeah, 13 workers end up going down in the end, and these oracles, they keep flying out, but like they haven't really managed to do much. They've been able to scout a little bit, but really, this Stargate opener hasn't really done much for Ranger.
No, it is not. It's going to be very difficult for Ranger to stabilize once his economy went down like that. I would kind of like to see Ranger use his oracles less of a scout and more for stasis wards at this point, I think. He knows where the army is. He knows that SortOf is heavily defended.
Well, I mean,
just try to CC.
Yeah, especially now because, you know, he did just repel an attack, SortOf did, and I imagine he's getting ready for a big Roach Ravager push soon, so stasis wards would be pretty good to try and, like, catch out a couple of these units.
He's using a lot of energy on these reveals, so...
Yeah, it's... We'll see. We'll see how that goes for him. I'm kind of worried about the way he's spending his energy right now with his oracles. Meanwhile, you know, he is taking his 4th base. He's working on Storm and working on Immortals, but his Immortal count is really low right now. And I feel like if SortOf pushed out anytime soon, like it would be difficult for Ranger to defend.
But SortOf does not look at, well, as I say, that Roach is starting to move.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Is also trying to get some of these probes or mineral lines off guard. These are slow banes, so they are particularly vulnerable to storms.
Yeah, Storm isn't done yet though, and I don't think he has many High Templar ready. There are 2 Immortals with the main army.
Got a decent count.
He's got 3.
A decent count of Templar. And it looks
not bad.
Like these storms. Storm is still a while away, and +2 melee has just completed for SortOf. But the force fields, they are looking good. They are going to be enough to deter these banes. So much more though. And Ranger, he turned his High Templar into Archons. Okay, now he's got a couple more and a lot of storms. But while this is going on, the mineral line of Ranger has also fallen to those Drop Lords. SortOf is right on top of these Morphing Archons. but it looks like Ranger might just barely have enough to hold.
Even if he did, he lost 23.
Remax, he lost 23 drones, probes, and his 4th base. And just look at the army supplies now. SortOf easily able to remax out of that. He is going to be looking to end this game very shortly.
There were just so many banelings with that army, and they just crashed right into the High Templar and the sentries as well. You know, the force fields were okay, but because there wasn't much SimCity, like, he just had to spend so many on the first round, and that was it really. And SortOf, he just had too much. He went through, and again, we saw like the Oracles didn't really do much in that engagement.
I'm just saying, man, stats ward.
Yeah, stats wards are pretty good, man.
A lot. Versus Ling Bane, especially.
Yeah, and here comes the second push. There are a lot of Archons, which can trade fairly well against this.
The Storm's also getting a lot of good connections, but the Banelings are arguably getting better connections. Hot pickup on the Warp Prism does able to save these Archons for quite a while, and Ranger is starting to fight back, but he is going to dodge the Bile. Is this going to be
the Banelings, they're chasing the workers! They're chasing the workers! Oh,
Banelings
God!
are chasing the workers, but they do get denied by the Stalkers and the Archons. Ranger was able to tie together a very, very scrappy defense here, and it looked like it was going to be just enough. Ranger does have a fairly... Oh, he cannot continue to eat biles like that, though.
Yeah, exactly.
Ranger does have a fairly potent unit composition, but again, numbers are just not in his favor.
Exactly, especially with like the numbers that matter. He only has 1 immortal, and this Oracle just chasing down the remaining army.
Giving the army back. Kind of. A little. So you might even say he's sort of keeping the army back.
God damn it, Yaku.
No, Steel's listening there.
I'm sure Steel is listening. But when it comes down,
suddenly, my pun senses are tingling.
Yeah, but what it comes down to, for when it comes to Ranger, is that he's still only on 3 bases. He's trying to get his 4th back up, but the only thing he has going for him is Storms. He has so many High Templar, and he's banking up Storms. But with Greater Spire on the way.
Exactly. I was going to say they are going to be very useful against this massive Ling Bane composition that SortOf is doing, but it's Greater Spire. Storm does kind of help a little bit with the air, but not if there's a massive amount of ground you need to contest with as well.
Yeah, and once again, his 4th gets denied. 4 workers go down, and again, the problem with this is he has a bunch of High Templar for Storm, but he doesn't really have much to protect them, so even just pure Ling could end up surrounding the High Templar. Oh, this Bane run by. Oh, God.
Banelings are going to go straight to the middle line. So they do manage to get their connections. 15 probes. Can I get a 14, 19, even 21? That is...
Jesus Christ.
A lot more than I thought. And, well, that's going on. The Lings are going into natural. D-Power's full half of Ranger's production. Oh, God, that Artosis pylon.
Yeah, just completely shuts down his production. Sure, there are Zealots here for defense, and here comes the main army trying to push in. There are
the Storms are deterring, SortOf, though.
Yeah, but what does it matter if you lose your main?
Exactly, that's the saving grace of Ranger's army, but it's not even going to be enough. The Brute Lords are now in, and they are starting to siege down the 3rd. That's the money base for Ranger right now, and it's not even saturated. This is going to go down, down, down.
Exactly, and here come the Storms. So the Brood Lords are a little bit out of position, so they are vulnerable to the Storms, but there's only a couple more left.
What's even more vulnerable is the High Templar. Now that the Templar are out of energy, the Roaches are going to get concaves. The Lings are going to come in and just clean this out. Good game, well played. And SortOf takes game 1.
GG. All right.
G. All right already.
Well, that means it's time to set up casting tool.
Yeah.
Didn't quite have time to do that earlier, but here we go. Ranger versus SortOf. Beautiful.
It was beautiful. You know, Ranger was actually on the Singapore newspaper. Well, I wouldn't exactly say featured, but the local newspaper, they were talking about like, yes, Malaysia and their esports investment. in games, particularly the mobile sector, as well as Dota 2. Oh yeah, and then this is also this one dead game called StarCraft.
Yeah, it's really sick. For those who don't know, after SEA Games, Malaysia, the governing body or whatever, they released an announcement.
Yeah, I think it was the cultural minister actually decided, yo, esports can be part of culture.
Yeah, they announced how much they were investing into the esports scene, and they were investing in like facilities for playing, as well as funding like a union sort of thing to make sure that players, were getting paid and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty sick.
You Southeast Asian unions, extra doubt, but maybe.
Yeah, it's really exciting, and I remember
something similar to a union.
Yeah, it was a shame because I remember the Vietnamese players and community were really upset because they were
because they actually did well.
Yeah, well, because they did well, and because all these things were happening from Malaysia, which is really sick and really exciting. But there was nothing for Vietnam. Like, there was no announcement or anything whatsoever, no acknowledgement of how well they did.
It's kind of the same with Singapore, where it's like, yes, they got like a bronze medal and a silver medal. Cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of cool, here we have it. The player who I would say got infinitely cooler. It was actually, I think, I don't remember who brought it up. It was somewhere on Twitter, but someone mentioned, yo, SortOf is one of the few players who actually looks better after he grew his beard out than he did before. It is the player all the way from Sweden, but currently residing in Korea with that massive beard. It looks good. What can I say? He is currently teamless, so team management. If you're looking for a new Zerg player, we just saw the previous game, and now we're gonna be looking into this game. Just think about it for a sec. We have SortOf.
I think I don't remember what he looks like without a beard.
Oh, I think it's still up on Wikipedia. I still use his pre-beard photo.
I feel like I don't know. I just blank out when I try to think of SortOf without a beard. Yeah.
Exactly.
Speaking of beards, here in the top right-hand corner of Everdream LE, he does not have a beard. I don't know what he would look like if he did have a beard, but we have, representing Malaysia, it is Ranger.
Is he still on Mate Hexa?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah.
I just couldn't quite remember what it was called.
Yeah, that I think is basically the big Malaysian esports organization. Well, not the new one, but I mean the old, more grassroots one, which is like, yo, what if we just took players from every game?
Fun fact, they approached Claire. They approached Claire to have him join the team. He was like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, nah.
He's like,
I'm acting in Singapore dramas now.
I'm a duckling, yo. Duckling for life.
Yo, that I am.
Those who don't know, the number 3 player in Malaysia is Claire, and he's our teammate.
Well, he's not in Malaysia anymore.
True, but he has
he's originally
citizenship.
From Malaysia.
Yeah, he can compete in Malaysian WSG qualifiers and tournaments.
I believe he can't compete in Singapore WSG.
Yeah,
because they do go off of citizenship.
True.
Accurate.
Anyway, we have a lot of links coming.
That we do.
We got a lot of links on the way.
Ain't no thing, but in conjunction with this for the Swarm Force, that's a stupid amount of links.
There's a lot of links coming. It's 3 hatch, so what that tells me is it's gonna be a lot of larva available to continue to link flood.
And there's a wall. There's no wall right now, but
it's
SortOf is going straight for the gateway.
Oh my god!
Never mind.
He could just lose right here. The Stalker's gonna go down. He's gonna depower the pylon.
I think he will, though. This is going to be dependent entirely on Ranger's micro. How is it going to look? He does get a pretty good surround with his probe.
Oh my god.
But they are starting to fall. He doesn't even get the wall off with that probe.
Exactly. He's going to get denied because of the Lings.
The end.
He manages to get one up.
Are in, and it looks like they're going to start to open this wall once again. Which it
That's
does.
it.
GG is called.
GG.
And SortOf is going to be advancing out from the, what round are we in? I believe it's around, I want to say 24, round 32. And we're going into the round 16. Where he will actually face Hero. Right, but it looks like we might not be casting that. As there are quite a number of casters who are looking to get in on this. I believe Gemini, who is not playing today, put out the call. He said, yo, I need as many people covering my boy as possible. That's probably not what happened.
Yeah. So I was just coordinating with Chicken Man. But like he's good to follow SortOf into a series against XTL Hero. Good. Yeah. And we'll go for Jim versus Nice.
Is he on black? Oh, okay. See, when you said X, I thought you meant like the letter X, and I was like, what team is XTL? Or you meant like EX, as in like, former. You're just not even...
Yeah, I wasn't.
It's way too. It's way too early.
Were you saying something?
It's not important. I thought you meant there was a team called XTL, and I was like, wait, what? What team is that?
What? God damn it! Yeah.
Isn't Hero on Black Knight?
X Team Liquid Hero, mate. God damn it.